Alright, guys, Godzilla minus one spoiler review. So if you've not seen the movie yet, do not go forward. I'm going to be spoiling this movie. This is your official warning. Okay, I love this movie. If you've probably seen it in my non spoiler review, let me get deep into spoilers. So, this movie takes place during World War II, or right after World War II. It's in the 40s, it's in Japan. It's a Japanese made movie, so there are subtitles throughout the movie. There's no English speaking, so get prepared for that. It is a very authentic movie. The movie starts off following kind of a kamikaze pilot who kind of defects and he lands on this island, kind of pretending like there's something wrong with his plane, but really he just doesn't want to die. And after kind of interrogating him, that's when Godzilla attacks for the first time. Now, to be honest, I didn't really love the first initial attack scene. I thought the CGI was a little bit wonky. He kind of looked like a big T Rex, so I was a little bit worried. And then from there, we kind of got into the story of this pilot. He was the only one who survived. He goes on to kind of go back to his poor town, and he kind of ends up living with a woman and a kid. And I'm like, this is kind of like a soap opera. I don't really like this. But then about 20 to 25 minutes into the movie, it kind of picks up and we gain a lot of steam. Probably my favorite scene in the entire movie is this scene right here. They had amazing boat chases, in particularly this one where Godzilla is chasing this boat. That's when it hit me. This movie reminded me a lot of Jaws. I think a lot of the scenes in the water took a lot of inspiration from Jaws. They kind of treated like Godzilla in the water like he was the shark and kind of approaching. I thought these were the best scenes. I haven't seen this before in Godzilla. I love the way he looks in the water much more than outside the water. It kind of looks like the old school Godzilla from the older Japanese movies. But these scenes were really tense. They were getting chased. They were dropping mines. They're trying to shoot him. All these things. Really, really good scene. Another part of the movie that I loved was how they handled his atomic breath. For the first time, it actually looked like a bomb or hydrogen bomb was detonated every time he used it. It wasn't just kind of like a laser beam. It literally looked like an A bomb went off. There's one particular scene where they really show the impact of the wind and the detonation, and obviously taking place in Japan right after World War II. It has a lot of impact. Obviously, they were just hit with two actual nuclear bombs, so they kind of use that symbolism in the movie, and I think it adds a lot of impact to the emotional part. It's not just like an American, like a random city getting attacked. It's specifically Japan in World War II in a very nuclear way. So I think it adds a lot to that scene. All of the actors did a really, really good job. The filmmaking in general, I don't watch many foreign films. They're very different than American made films. The way the scenes cut is almost like a Broadway play. It almost goes dark. It's not like Americans where they just kind of cut to the next scene. These is like one of the only pictures I found of all the actors. Obviously, ignore Godzilla, but this woman was great. The main character, top left, was acting his ass off. My favorite guy from the whole movie was probably this scientist in the bottom left with the longer hair. I thought he was great. He was funny, but he was convincing. He kind of played the Richard Dreyfuss character in Jaws as kind of the smart scientist, and the guy on the left was kind of I forgot his name, but he was the more kind of he was the guy, the captain in charge of the boat who was thought that he originally could catch Godzilla. Overall, the other things I like about this movie is just kind of the human elements were way better than in the movies that we're used to. Some of the recent movies, it's way more personal. It's a much better movie. The thing I loved most is it really feels like a war movie with Godzilla in it. It's not just a Godzilla movie. I think this movie could have been good. You could have made a cut of this movie where you don't even see Godzilla. You just talk about him and you hear him. You don't see him, and that probably could have been good. But they used him really well. This only cost $15 million. I'm not sure how they pulled that off, but American companies need to start taking note and hiring these people and these actors. And I mean, if I have to watch Star Wars or a Marvel movie in subtitles in Japanese, so be it. But just give me a good movie. I think they can learn a lot from this, not just from the Godzilla parts, but from the other acting parts. So yeah, I just thought it was a really, really well-made movie. I would 100% recommend go seeing it, even if you're not a Godzilla fan. But if you are a Godzilla fan, run to go see it. I don't think I'm missing anything else. It's 2 hours, which is, I think, a great runtime. It's not too long. Sometimes these movies, they'll fight the monster for like 20 minutes longer than it should be. But yeah, this plot is great, and I guess to give you the big spoiler at the end, they do end up killing him. It's kind of how the plot kind of comes full circle. The kamikaze pilot is like, I'm going to fly into his mouth with a bomb in my plane and kill him from the inside out. And then you find out he actually ejected. So that's kind of like not the moral, but kind of like the theme of the movie, is him choosing to survive. So that's my review of Godzilla Minus One. I love this movie. And I guess explaining why it's called Minus One. So I guess after World War II, Japan was at rock bottom, zero, and then Godzilla attacks right after that, bringing them into the negatives, aka Minus One. So kind of an interesting name, but a very good movie, one of my favorites of 2023. I highly recommend it. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.